Okay, before I let you proceed, I understand we have Chris Elems now who is ready to speak with us. He's in the Surulere area of Lagos. Chris?
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Surulere, Lagos. And of course, it's a beautiful evening right here at the National Stadium here in Surulere. On Saturday, by Saturday, 4 days from now, 84 million Nigerians will be heading to the poll. And of that numbers, we have about 10.5 million new voters who actually got their first baptism last week. But going further, beyond February 16, what are we supposed to be doing? We have some gentlemen who would be discussing this with me today. My name is Chris Elems. First of all, I have Bernard Oniga. Well, he's the convener, Citizen Manifesto. It's a pleasure having you. I have George Obi also with me. He is an entrepreneur. He would also be discussing this with us today. And of course, to my immediate right, I have Ikenna Okeke. He also will be discussing this with me. And finally, I have Chukwu Namso Chukudum. It's a pleasure having you. All right. Now, beyond February 16, I mean, what are some of the lessons we should take away from that? And going forward, what should we take away from that incident of February the 16th? Barrister Ikenna, you may want to throw this open.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The very first thing I believe we should take away from this is the endemic system failure in our institutions. INEC had enough time, what we would consider more than reasonable time, to prepare for this process. But unfortunately, we were disappointed. Most Nigerians, if you take the polls, most Nigerians are not surprised. They're used to system failures like this. But we are supposed to learn from our mistakes as we move, as we graduate. But the problem here is that we don't learn from our mistakes. And as we graduate, we become worse. And up till now, nothing concrete has been given to us as to the reason why the polls didn't hold. We need to overcome this system failure. And when we're talking about system failure here, we're talking about both the constituents of that system too.
All right, okay. We would continue from there, the constituents of that system failure. George will be on Saturday last week. Where were you, and how did that affect you?
I was actually at home. Of course, we were expecting that voting should start by 8. And what I did, I woke up, I wanted to go around my estate, do some exercise, because I normally take care of my exercise on Saturdays to go home. But when I got up, I checked my phone, and then I noticed that INEC, postponed the election. I was surprised and confused. I didn't know what to do, because I've not seen anything like that. 3 hours or 5 hours to election, and we are told it's being postponed till next Saturday. What I did, call some of my friends, and I said, let's go to the stadium and see if it's open. And we came here, and fortunately for us, the gate was open, and we were here discussing what happened. Everybody was surprised. Of course, Ikenna was talking about system failing in the past. It has not failed 5 hours to election. It was terrible.
Okay, it was terrible. You are the convener, Citizen Manifesto.
Very well.
Now, beyond February 16, let's go beyond February 16. We are going forward. And of course, we all have a responsibility as a citizen of this country to ensure a successful electoral process. What should we be doing right now to ensure that the people who probably had their ego deflated, or those who probably incurred some cost, how do we take them back to the polls on the 23rd of February?
Let me begin by sympathizing with fellow Nigerians on the unfortunate postponement, I must say, because some persons have suffered economic losses. All of us as a whole have suffered economic losses as a nation. Some persons have suffered emotional and psychological trauma. Even though we are looking forward, just permit me a few minutes to do this, we must also look at the past for us to get the future right. Some persons, like I said, have shifted wedding dates, shifted anniversaries, shifted parties, and you know, all of these, you know, with 84 million eligible voters, you would have 84 million stories. You know, everybody has his or her own losses to count, but that is what it takes to build a nation. It comes at a price, and I hope that we are willing to pay the price to build Nigeria to what it is. To answer your question, what should we be doing? To be honest with you, today INEC announced that political campaigns ought to resume, you know, or rather should resume, and I believe that by tomorrow politicians will be on the streets campaigning. What I also expected INEC to do was to reopen the collection of the PVCs. I was at the Etiosa local government and I witnessed the collection of the PVC on the last day. There was a mammoth crowd. People could still not collect their PVCs. First thing, Dr. Ken said, institutional failure. We had very few INEC staff attending to what I would call a mammoth crowd. And I was imagining how INEC was hoping to cope with the issuance of PVC. Unfortunately, like I said, I saw a lot of Nigerians stranded, and I saw a lot of Nigerians who were not able to pick up their PVC. I would urge INEC to reopen the collection of PVCs tomorrow to enable others who could not do so prior to the elections. Because of the failure of INEC too, I must insist, should collect their PVCs and participate in the process which is coming on the 23rd.
Okay, now we'll look at strengthening the electoral process. I mean, what should we begin to do? So, because in 2011, we had similar situation, 2015, the same thing, 2019. Is it like we're not learning from the past, you know? So we'll look at that. But shortly, Chukunum, so on Saturday, where would you be?
On Saturday, I travel back to my village on Friday because I registered in the village.
Okay.
So on Friday night, my friend Ikena called me in the midnight, telling me that the election has been cancelled. Upon all the suffering in the traveling, the risk I took to travel to the east, and I abandoned everything I have to do on Saturday in Lagos to travel to east, I'm highly disappointed with the INEC.
Now going forward, that has happened. Going forward, what should we begin to do? 23rd is just 4 days away.
Yes, we Nigerians should know that this is a price to pay for things to get right in the country. We should not be discouraged with the actions of the INEC. We need to come out in full on Saturday and cast our vote so that this country can be able to work again.
Okay, finally, let's look at how do we start strengthening the electoral process. Maybe Barrister Ikena, let's quickly do that in 30 seconds.
Now, it's simple. We need to get in skilled manpower. We can't be in the 90s and talking about technology in the 80s. We need to move, there must be full technological transfer. We need to embrace the world as it is today when it comes to issues of this nature. We need to revamp the system. In this particular process, we have a lot of political, aspirants who are aspiring for office, who ought to be in INEC, turning things around, making things work, rather than being out there contesting. It is when the system works, then we can be sure that the candidates coming out will be understood and the people will vote for them.
Okay, let me hold you. Quickly, let's also get you, Bernard. How do we start strengthening the electoral process so we get it right? Quickly,
okay,
30 seconds.
Very interesting. We live in the 21st century where, of course, the saying idea rules the world has played a very significant role. I don't understand why we should not have what I would call a fireproof electoral system.
Okay.
In so much that no matter how politicians would try to manipulate it, INEC ought to be ahead of its game. And I think INEC should begin to look at the use of technology. Today we draw money from everywhere. People in the villages enjoy technology. I wonder what INEC is still waiting for and why we've not begun to use technology to improve the system.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bernard, thank you for coming. George D, I really appreciate you. Chukwunomso, thank you. And Barrister Okeke, I appreciate you. Well, thank you. The verdict continues. We'll be going back to our studios. My name is Chris Lems. Don't forget that on the 23rd, everyone should go out and cast his or her votes. Thank you for joining us from Surulere. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Chris Lems there in Surulere, here in Lagos as well. Now we'll expand the conversation back to Abuja because that's where we were before we took Chris. But let's go on a quick break and we'll be right back.